Let's take a look at a use case for FlexiLayout alternatives. We've got in FlexiLayout Studio a document from another Taiwan corporation, also a document from Solar Technologies. And a little bit of work has been done already. If I match this document, we can see that a header has been located, looking for another Taiwan corporation. And we also are finding a keyword shipped to and a paragraph proximate to that. Then we're finding the keyword invoice number, and we're looking below that for the actual invoice number. So the next document, if we click match, we're going to see that we were unable to match the FlexiLayout. And if we look at the header, there's nothing in the header that would allow us to match Solar Technologies. We can capture the data from Solar Technologies using a layout alternative. And to go about this, I'm going to start off by renaming this layout tree another Taiwan Corp. And once that's done, I can actually clone this. I'm going to hold down the Control key, and with my left mouse button, I'm just going to drag that down. So I have another Taiwan Corp 2. This will be renamed Solar Technologies. And right now, these two are exactly the same. What I can do is make some changes. For instance, I can change this very simple required static text element, the search text, to Solar Technologies. So we were able to match the layout, and we found our header. And if we look at the ship to, we matched that ship to keyword, and we found the paragraph to the right of that, which is great news. If we look at keyword invoice number, we made a match, not a perfect match, and then we're looking below that and we're finding incorrect data. So let's make some quick adjustments here. I'll change invoice no to invoice number, and we'll match. Great. Now we will change the relations in our character string element. We want to look below the bottom with an offset of, actually we want to look with a negative offset, say -10, and we want to change that to below top. So that is a proper upper boundary. And then above the bottom with an offset of -10, we want to look to the right of invoice number with an offset of, say, 10, and left of right, and we can measure the distance. So we see on the bottom right the word dot, the word select tool, and 290 by 0. So we could change this to 300. And that's going in the wrong direction. So we want to make that a negative offset. That looks good. And we'll highlight all 4 of these, and we can see we're not looking below anymore, we're looking to the right. So let's match and test this. Keyword invoice number, and we're finding the invoice number. Let's do some quality control here. We want to make sure that our blocks are mapped correctly. So for another Taiwan Corp, that's mapped. For Solar Technologies, that's mapped. And for invoice number, another Taiwan Corp is mapped, and Solar Technologies is mapped. So the key there is that we had everything properly mapped before we cloned the layout and made a layout alternative for Solar Technologies. So that actually saved us quite a bit of time. And then we can also set the reference alternative here. So the dialog is here, to solar technologies. And now that matches up. And there are the fundamental principles to creating a layout alternative. If I had another alternative that I wanted to create, I could simply hold my control key down, and with my left mouse button I could just drag down these layouts and make layout alternatives. So it's quite easy to do, and mapping happens automatically if you've mapped the first layout before you start cloning.